Hello, welcome to the Fifth Star. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Albert.
And in this podcast, we're trying to find our next 5-star movie. And when we find that movie, this podcast will become a sentimental memory.
All right, on this episode, we are reviewing Sentimental Value. It is Joachim Trier's new film, and it is a Norwegian family drama about an estranged father who's trying to make a movie with his daughter.
Yeah.
And this made history. It's the Norwegian film with the most Oscar nominations. It got 9 nominations.
That's crazy.
And all the big ones, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we're excited to talk about that. But first, we're gonna try to guess what we think each other gave this movie. Yeah. We secretly wrote down what we gave this movie on this whiteboard. What do you think I gave this movie? I'll let you go first.
So, for some context,
yeah,
this director also did Worst Person in the World, right?
Yep. Which is a 5-star movie for me.
And same star, and that is a 5-star movie for you. So, you do kind of like this director. However, this was such a different story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say you gave it 3.5.
Okay, 3.5. And I know you didn't like Worst Person in the World, but because this is a different movie, I feel like this was more up your alley. I'm going to guess that you gave it a 4.0.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we're going to give our spoiler-free thoughts first, and then we'll reveal our scores, and then we will talk more spoilers.
Yep.
So what did you think of Sentimental Value? Did you like it more than Worst Person in the World?
I did like it more.
Okay.
It kind of, in some ways, though, felt a little bit almost like a sequel.
Okay.
Just because her character is almost the same.
Yeah, Renata Weinsva, she's in both, and she does seem kind of similar.
She's kind of like the same person almost.
But she's not playing the same person.
She's not.
Yeah.
She's not. She's like further along than that person.
It's like more of her backstory.
Yeah.
of like the character.
More of the context. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, this is going to sound really weird. But the dad does kind of talk the way my dad talks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which was really weird. And my dad is a second generation Norwegian.
Oh, interesting.
So I wonder how much of that affects his, like, if that's just a Norwegian culture thing.
Yeah, it might be.
But the way he talked, I was like, this is how my dad talks sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was kind of trippy.
Yeah. I do think your dad, having met him just a few times, is a much better dad than this character.
Yes,
it seems like.
He's definitely a better dad. Overall, yes, I agree.
So I didn't like this as much as Worst Person in the World.
Okay. I kind of figured.
Yeah. Worst Person in the World to me was such a powerful movie. To me, it's still the best movie depicting like what it feels like to be going through your 20s, just like wandering, trying to figure out who you want to be, where you want to go in life, and all this kind of stuff. It was much bolder.
Yeah.
This movie was much more straightforward. Not in a bad way, but it really is just a family drama. There's a lot of layers to it. The characters are well developed. But yeah, it just like wasn't as exciting as Worst Person in the World for me.
Interesting.
But I did think the performances were all great.
Yeah.
All 4 major categories, they all got nominations. Stellan Skarsgård for Best Actor. He was great. And then Renata Weinsva. I love her. Now seeing her in back-to-back of these movies, I just find her so charming and likable. There's something about her but it's not just like one note. It's not like, Julia Roberts used to be in the 90s and it's just like a girl next door kind of charming.
Yeah.
It's like there's real like complexity to her as a character, as a person, as like an actress, it seems like.
I do agree, but I almost feel like the sister overshadowed her.
The sister also was really good, though.
She was so good. And I like was drawn. Maybe it's because I related to her more. But like whenever she was in a scene, I was looking at her. I was like drawn to her performance more than other characters.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that, well, first of all, I think this might be her film debut.
Whoa.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
If it's not her first film, she's like much more of a less like accomplished actress, I guess.
Yeah.
But she was fantastic, but it was also like her performance and her character was much more understated. Than like the main character.
Like lots more subtext happening because she was masking a lot.
Yeah. But she really did like deliver, and She didn't like overperform ever. Yeah, so like, and their chemistry was really great.
It was. They felt like real sisters. Yeah.
My favorite scene, I think, is like the one of the two of them just together in their bedroom and like talking and
Me too.
yeah.
I wish that had happened earlier. I mean, we can get more into that later,
Yeah.
but I wish that scene had happened earlier in the movie because that was when I really started to like connect.
Yeah.
And it happened so late. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think that could have helped for sure too. I think one thing is maybe I wish there was more like tension between them. That would have made that kind of moment even more impactful. They do have like a great relationship but that's part of like the interesting thing about this film is like the characters, they're not overly dramatized.
No.
And so in that sense, it might make for less compelling drama, but it also makes it feel more real.
Yeah.
Like these characters seem very realistic. Like, so now Elle Fanning, how did you think that she did? She plays like an actress, like a famous
she did
actress.
good. I wondered do you think her being in this movie is what garnered a lot more attention? I'm curious.
I don't think so.
No?
I mean,
Stellan Skarsgård,
he's big.
A lot of star power
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And then
true.
coming off of the success of Worst Person in the World,
That's
I think
true.
there's a lot of anticipation for this.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well,
so
her being in it felt a little strange at first, but then as it kept going, I mean, I enjoyed her performance. I thought she did good.
I mean, I think she did a good job too. There was also a scene with her and Stellan Skarsgård that I thought she did really well.
Yeah.
So all of these performances, I feel like they each had like at least one, if not more than one scene to like kind of shine.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think they really like deliver in those moments. But also with her character, I felt similarly where like there's a lot of setup of like conflict, but maybe like that doesn't fully come to fruition, but it almost feels like maybe it's because like that's the way a real person would act. It wouldn't be so overly dramatic or overly contentious or in a certain situation. And so in that sense, it made it feel more like real, but I think it was missing some of the dramatic punch that I wanted.
I could see that. It wasn't dramatic conflict-wise.
Yeah. We can talk more about that later in spoilers. Another thing that I thought about the characters, I thought the dad's character was really funny. It was kind of understated, but at one point he shows up at his grandson's birthday. His grandson's 9 years old. And because he's a filmmaker, he brings him a stack of DVDs.
Yeah.
And one of the DVDs is a 2002 French film called Irreversible. Have you seen that movie?
Nope. So
this movie is infamous because it's kind of like a cross between Memento and Birdman, although Birdman came later. Great cinematography. The camera's always moving, except in the middle of the film, it just stays static and rests on the ground for like 9 minutes of an unbroken take. And it watches just while you see someone get sexually assaulted on screen.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's a brutal movie. It's
for a 9-year-old.
Yeah, especially for. So it was just ridiculous that he would even give him that movie. But from a filmmaker's perspective, I can understand the thought process. But little things like that, little details like that were really funny.
It was funny because he was out of touch. That's what made it funny. Yeah. But also it's kind of sad if you think about it.
I guess. It's funny because it's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
sad how disconnected.
Yeah, if my parents gave my son a movie like that, I would be like, you don't get to watch this until a certain age.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my word.
But
I mean, he did a great job. Stellan Skarsgård, I mean, like he did a fantastic job. Yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying. Like all the acting, great, superb, quality. It was at a high level. Do we want to reveal our scores?
Sure. Okay,
because then I can get more into it.
Okay. Well, you thought I would give this a 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I did give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. So yeah, definitely less than The Worst Person in the World. And I gave it a 3.5 as well.
Oh, okay. The way you were talking about it, it made it sound like you were much lower on it, but...
Oh, much lower. Okay.
Yeah, I thought the way you were talking, you might be at like a 3 or a 2.5.
I mean, yeah, I think that this movie's quality is what brought it up for me, kind
Mm.
of what I was saying earlier. But at the same time, my overall enjoyment wasn't as high.
We're gonna get into spoilers, um, but I thought what was weird about this movie is that there's like parts of it that I really identified with.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's so many things about these characters, the kind of estranged father thing. Like my parents, they got divorced when I was really young.
Mm.
My biological dad, I have not, I've lost touch with him over many decades. All of a sudden, a few years ago, he like contacts me over phone out of the blue. So being put in this kind of situation, like these
Yeah.
characters where you're just like, what, how do I navigate this? So all those kinds of things are deeply personally relevant to me.
Yeah.
And yet I found myself watching and kind of feeling like, why am I not as connected to these characters specifically?
Yes.
And I felt like maybe it was because while the characters were well developed, like there was never real like that much tension, or like
Yeah.
like even between the sisters, like there could have been more tension, even between the dad and
I felt the
yeah.
same way where I was like, I wanted to feel more connected because I was able to really relate to particularly the sister. I
Hmm.
feel like my upbringing and the way I like turned out is very similar to her.
Hmm.
But there was kind of like a disconnect because all of the characters were so emotionally unavailable.
Oh yeah.
And like that was kind of part of the movie, but the problem is like when you have all the characters be emotionally unavailable, you no longer have someone that you can be like anchored to
Like
emotionally.
connect with.
Yeah, and one of the things that bothered me was that the movie opens with a funeral for the mother,
Mm-hmm.
the matriarch, and we don't get to see any of them really mourning her death or really even
Yeah.
talking about her, and she just
Yeah,
kind
and
of
if
like
she was if
disappears.
she was the only, she was a single mom,
Caretaker,
that's all. Yeah,
yeah.
like wouldn't they have been more torn up about it? That's true.
And it's like really, I don't know why that wasn't really an element. Like they seemed more bothered by their dad and everything than they
Mm-hmm.
did about like their mother dying, and they didn't really even talk about it. And maybe that is just like a cultural thing, like a Norwegian cultural, I don't know.
Mm.
But that just struck me as kind of odd.
Yeah, I think like the scene between the sisters, for example, was like probably my favorite scene. And
Me
I
too.
did feel like just emotionally it was really working well. You felt like really happy that they're having this great moment together. But I guess short of that one scene, it feels like maybe like there's, because there hasn't been so much straight conflict or drama, like the payoff isn't as strong or powerful
Yes.
or as cathartic maybe.
Yeah.
So even like the ending, for example, I don't know how you felt about the ending, but I kind of felt like it ended, and yeah, they have this moment of understanding. There's these themes of like the dad is only able to communicate and connect through his art,
Yeah.
and then when they look at each other after they call cut, they have this moment, but it just like rang as a little hollow,
Yeah.
or maybe a little too overly sentimental, if I can say that, in contrast to, for example, like Hamnet,
Yeah.
where there's a similar kind of dynamic happening, but in that moment it's so powerful,
The
and
catharsis is
yes,
real. Yeah.
yes, and you feel it, it impacts you, it hits you, but here it just kind of feels flat.
I agree. I think I needed another moment between the daughter and the dad
Mm,
where they're talking about it. I don't know how that would have been written in a satisfying way, but I
mm,
think that's what I was expecting.
mm.
And to just jump kind of in time to that scene felt a little bit like, yeah, like it wasn't as punchy
Yeah,
as it maybe could have been. I
yeah.
think too, like the whole opening sequence with the narration and the beautiful visuals of the
Mm,
house, that was like a really cool theme and motif
mm.
that was a lot like here.
Yes.
But then they kind of abandoned that.
Yeah.
And then I guess like the set that they build at the end, maybe that's supposed to like tie into the opening image, but
Mhm.
it didn't really land.
Yeah, because it starts off with the idea of this place having sentimental value and these things that are left behind by the mom, but then it becomes really just about the relationships and the
Mm-hmm.
people, which is
good.
proper.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's like, why do we start with that as like such a focus, right? Whereas
Mhm.
in here, it starts with that as the concept and it carries it all the way through and it's
Yeah.
consistent in that. Um, yeah, I think like this movie had pieces of other movies reminding me of like here, like Hamnet, but also like Jay Kelly, which I mean they came out concurrently, but Jay Kelly also about
Regret.
an estranged father trying to reconnect with a daughter, but was also very absent because they also worked in the film industry. Maybe this is just these are movies where these filmmakers like Joachim Trier or who directed Jay Kelly? Was it George
Noah
Clooney?
Baumbach.
Oh, Noah Baumbach. Yeah, maybe it's just them working through their own kind of catharsis of like, man, I kind of feel guilty about how much time I'm not being able to spend as much time with my family as I would like.
Yeah.
So they're kind of writing that into their stories. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. It brings about the question about like, is art meant to be self-indulgent a little bit?
Yeah,
Do you know
I
what I mean
mean,
by that?
yeah, I mean, okay, explain. Which I think I
So,
know what you mean, but
like, the fact that the dad made this movie and it's his work of art, his masterpiece, but it's really more just about his own therapy and like being able to work through his own issues. And you kind of see that in Hamnet as well. Like, I do see that. Is that good for art to be self-indulgent?
is that bad?
Is it bad? Like, that's the question that's like, I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
well, let me ask: is there any other option?
I mean, there are a lot of movies that are like politically indulgent, right? Like they're trying to say something more about greater society.
Part of me thinks, yeah, there you could write about things that you don't know that well, that you researched, or about make political commentary that are not deeply personal. But there is lots of artwork that is deeply personal and comes from a personal space, and
that can be beautiful.
And yeah, part of me thinks that that's always right or that's always proper. I don't know. Like otherwise, it's coming from it's the classic idiom or maxim, write what you know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so if you are trying to not self-indulgent in any way and not make it about you, then you're kind of starting to write of things that
you
are
might be
not of
missing the
you.
humanity.
Yeah, the
within
things
your
that
own
are
self.
personal.
That's good. That's good.
I
Maybe that's kind of like one thing that this movie expresses well.
Yeah, because one thing I'll say is that finished this movie, and even though I wasn't like on the verge of tears, not that that would happen naturally for me or happen easily for me anyway, but I also think it made me think about my being a father and me having kids and me feeling like, hey, I don't want to end up being like this person, this character. I don't want to pass down this kind of theme throughout this movie of like this like generational pain that gets like passed down generation to generation unless like you kind of are able to like face it and overcome it or deal with it. I think and like you're saying that you are able to deeply relate to some of these things. So you look at this movie and there's something so real and so true about it.
Yeah.
Right? There's like real truth here. It feels like this is what is the stuff that people experience and is made up of the stuff that we see in the world. And so I think that has to come from something that is personal, I'm guessing, to the writer, filmmakers, and actresses and actors, right?
Yeah, which is why I think like on a rewatch, I would probably rate this higher because there is that like high quality of authenticity that a lot of other movies aren't able to quite tap into. However, what you were saying about like the conflict not quite escalating did kind of make the ending fall a little flat for me.
Yeah.
If the ending had like a nice punch, I think it would have been a lot higher score for me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think the ending could have really like
smashed it.
Yeah. Like, because we just reviewed Train Dreams, and I think Train Dreams has a similar beginning of more thoughtful, more reserved, dramatically, artfully kind of telling like a family drama. But it really does build, and it grips you. It pulls you in, and it makes you like by the end really feel like something.
Mm-hmm.
And here just never quite lifts off to that level in sentimental value.
In a dramatic way, yeah.
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 But I mean, it seems like a lot of people, there's been a lot of
people
love
like
for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like 9 Oscars, nothing to sneeze at, right?
Mm-mm.
That's incredible in all the major categories.
I think I would recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would recommend it too. So,
and he would definitely recommend Worst Person in the World.
yeah. It's not going to be for everyone.
Right.
But this also might not be for everyone too.
True.
Right?
True.
So, yeah, if you watched it, let us know what you thought.
And you can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Letterboxd, or Apple Podcasts.
And join us next time as we continue our quest for the 5th star.